Football is no stranger to young players being hyped up as the next big thing because of some glimpses of talent. In recent years, teams have splurged tons of money for players who have only had one good season at best. In 2012, AC Milan was one of those teams. They signed a player without professional matches, a player that had never stepped out on a professional pitch before. This was due to the virality of YouTube. The emergence of YouTube sensation Hachim Mastour took the idea of a wonder kid to new levels. He was a player so hyped that we haven't seen someone like him ever since that day. Let's set the dream scenario. Let's go back to 2010, maybe 2011, or maybe 2012. Let me check. Yes, 2012. Back then, social media was more well known, football was evolving at a different pace, and YouTube quickly became a cornerstone in everyone's life, particularly football fans. Whether watching football challenges, FIFA pack opening, or even compilation, the video sharing platform was now at a level of incomprehensible popularity. What was once a fun site on the internet was now taking over and had already replaced TV for a generation of kids growing up. What does any of that have to do with football? Specifically Hachim Mastour? Well, it was on YouTube where the teenage Moroccan sensation first started to put eyes on himself and steal headlines. When Hachim Mastour went viral in 2012, a YouTube video, the best 14-year-old footballer in the world, accumulated just under 6 million views. Man, 6 million views. I can't even get to 1K views right now. And to talk about views, if you like the video so far, please give a like and subscribe as it will really help the channel out. In the footage, he is seen dancing past players with no one seemingly able to get the ball from him, as it appears glued to the skillful footballer's feet. This led to a flurry of Europe's biggest teams suddenly racing scouts to Italy to get the insight on the player. For Mastour, a career that seemed to have no limits on what he could achieve took a different route in the years to come. Born in Reggio Emilia, Italy, to Moroccan parents, Mastour had some background in youth football, featuring in tournaments for Inter and impressing with scoring displays. Still, his YouTube virality had announced him to the world before he was even 14. Unable to depart local side Reggiana until he had celebrated his 14th birthday, Mastour had, at the moment, become one of football's most seductive prospects. That reality becomes more ridiculous when you learn that AC Milan offered 500,000 euros to snap him up in 2012. He was placed in adverts alongside Neymar at this point too, so the pressure was there more than ever. Clarence Seedorf brought him into Milan's first team squad for the final game of the 2013-2014 campaign, sitting on the bench as the Rossoneri beat Sassuolo 2-1. A now 15-year-old Mastour was a storyline in the following season, with the entire footballing world watching. Unfortunately, his first entire season in senior football would pass him. Mastour failed to make an effect at Milan in the 2014-2015 season, squinting between a miserable and declining first team and the youth academy, with the first signs of looking ultimately lost. And when a 2-year loan to Malaga was announced ahead of the 2015-2016 season, the Wonder Boy seemingly had the perfect pathway carved out, until it became a total nightmare. He returned to Milan, a teenager with his tail between his legs, after one season in Spain, having made just one appearance for La Liga side. It had become abundantly clear that first team football had come far too soon for Mastour. Another hopeless loan spell followed, this time to PEC Zwolle in the Eredivisie, and again ended without any real fanfare. You would think that the Dutch league would be a great way to develop as a player, but he did not flourish as expected. After the disappointing loan spell, he returned to Milan once again. One more miserable year in Milan would follow before the Moroccan found himself out in the cold at age 20. Released upon expiry of his contract, he'd officially been chewed up and spat out. viewers had long moved from his YouTube clips, and many had forgotten about the wonder kid that he once was. But his viral clips will always be remembered. For many, that was a story over. But for Mastour, it was always more than a story, more than a YouTube clip. This was his life, his dream of becoming one of Europe's top footballers. It's sad to see the reality of this situation. He tried to resurrect what was left of his career with a move to Greek side Lamia. Still, he was again gone after a season and couldn't even make it work at Italian third tier side Regina. Today, it seems like he's playing for a second division tier club called, wait a moment, Renaissance Samamra in the summer of 2022 after being clubless for over a year. The story of Hachim Mastour is unfortunate and kinda sad, honestly, if you really think about it. The only good situation that I see from this is that he's only 25 years old. So if he ever wanted to compete at a top club in Europe, there's still a lot of time. My own personal opinion, I think he should go to a low-level team in the Eredivisie, the Dutch league, or the Bundesliga, which is in the German league. And I feel like if he were to start in one of those low tier teams, I think he'd be able to live up to his potential if he were into one of those two leagues. It doesn't even have to be a good club. All he needs is a team to fully trust him in his abilities and maybe, just maybe, help him flourish into the player he was supposed to be. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been the rise and fall of Hachim Mastour, the tale of a YouTube sensation at one point in time. Until the next one, peace out.